Good evening. Welcome to Real News Live. How you guys doing tonight? Hi, Tia. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Nana. How you guys all doing tonight? Hi, other Debbie. Hopefully get a few more people in here. And hopefully my data frame rates. I don't know what's going on with Facebook, but right now they are killing me. If you guys can see the video okay, please let me know in chat. If you can hear me all right, that's even better. But it looks like definitely having some technical issues with Facebook right now, as far as I can tell. Not a surprise, though, as we know. Day by day, Facebook, of course, trying to hold us down as long as they can. Hi, Penny. How you doing tonight? As we're talking about what's going on tonight, Ukraine, of course, wants Russia expelled from the UN, which is just ridiculous. You know, the United Nations was formed in order to have communication between all countries, even countries that we are not allies with and enemies with. But for Ukrainian foreign minister to publish a letter Monday calling for Russia's removal from the UN, as well as revoking a permanent member of the UN status of the Security Council, questioning Russia's legitimacy to the fall of the Soviet Union in December of 1999 or 1991. I mean, part of the agreement was the UN and the UN Charter that was formed. It's very, very important. Very, very important that we keep this charter in place. As Russian Federation took over the seat of a permanent member of the UN Security Council, bypassing procedures and definitions by the UN Charter. Now, Ukraine is trying to say that the current charter does not contain the words Russian Federation and has never gone through the legal procedures to admit the membership, therefore illegally occupies the seat of the USSR. This is crazy. It is absolutely crazy that right now Ukraine is trying to push them out of the UN Security Council, meaning basically no communication at all with Russia in any way, shape, or form would be happening. What we see now would be a lot worse without the UN, because at least the UN we have some contact and some kind of way to negotiate. I've never seen something like this before, where they're trying to push for more divide, but that's what they're doing. Of course, Russian bombardments rained down on Kyrgyzstan all weekend, including Christmas, as Ukraine marks its grueling 10 months of shelling of Ukraine, and at least 10 people left dead and 58 injured. A fire that was started in a busy market in the southern port city. It's sad to see the citizens being injured and citizens being hurt. That's not what I'm saying. It's nothing short of that for sure. But the important thing to notice is that this is not just happening because Russia wants to do it. Russia already took Kyrgyzstan. They said they were going to pull back and nobody would even be doing anything, as long as nobody went in. But Ukraine decided to go in right away and force their way back into the province. But beyond that, we have the U.S., concerned by Chinese provocations of military activity near Taiwan, as China, of course, sent 71 warplanes and 7 ships towards Taiwan in the last 24 hours, as they're heading that way now. And we're extremely worried about this. The U.S. is concerned about Chinese military activity near Taiwan, because it could be extremely destabilizing. Of course, that's where all the chips come from and everything else. But while we continue to assist Taiwan and maintain a sufficient self-defense capability in line with our long-standing commitment and consistency with our one China policy. This makes no sense. We have a one China policy. We agree to China's one China policy. But yet we're going to provide weapons to Taiwan so they don't have to be part of China anymore. That makes no sense whatsoever. 71 Chinese Air Force fighter jets and drones that entered Taiwan Air's defense space so far in the last 24 hours. The island's government said today that the largest reported inclusion to date. And I think this just the beginning. I really do. I mean, China's sick of this playing both sides because that's what we're doing. The aggression towards the self-ruling democracy, which Beijing claims as its territory, and according to One China policy, which we agreed to, is their territory, came after the Chinese government's objected to a U.S. defense spending bill. Our spending bill is, of course, going to provide more weapons and everything to Ukraine. Our spending bill, which makes no sense, or to Taiwan. I mean, it's basically the biggest show of force since Nancy Pelosi visited the island last year, which caused a whole upheaval. The aggressions towards the self-ruling democracy, which Beijing claims the territory is its own, is objected to a U.S. defense spending bill passed Friday, which includes greater support for Taiwan, which is just crazy. The Chinese military action, which lasted from 6 a.m. Sunday till around 6 a.m. Monday, included J-10s, J-11s, and J-16 fighters, as well as drones, according to the map released by the Taiwan defense minister. Said 47 planes crossed the median line, the official boundary in Taiwan Strait. Taiwan military is monitoring, of course, the situation by using planes and ships and land-based missile systems. Adding that Chinese drills were an effort to intimidate the people of Taiwan, who strongly reject Chinese claims to sovereignty. But yet they are from China. It's not a question. It's one of these things that we keep going on and on about, but nobody can actually do anything. Everybody, of course, wants to talk about it, but nobody has any actions to fix it. As we're watching what's happening, though, in Taiwan with China, it's just the beginning. We see North Korea acting up by sending drones into South Korea this weekend as well. South Korea had to scramble multiple planes in order to intercept drones that were being flown into South Korea's airspace. This is a tinderbox that's happening between China, Iran, Russia, North Korea. I mean, they're all basically one force now. China, which has never renounced the use of force on Taiwan under its control, said Sunday that they held joint exercises in the sea and airspace around the island. This is a firm response to current U.S.-Taiwan escalations and provocation, which it is truly a response to the U.S. trying to put their foot in the door in Taiwan and cause more divide. That's what we're trying to do. We're becoming the world's police again, and it does not work. We know this. The White House is, of course, concerned by the People's Republic of China's provocative military activity near Taiwan and which is destabilizing and risk miscalculations and undermines regional peace and stability, according to the White House. Whose regional stability? That's not our region. It's freezing up for everyone. It's Facebook actually freezing my feet up. I cannot help it. Karen, I am very sorry. But we're going to continue to maintain assistance to Taiwan and trying to get its self-sufficient defense capabilities against China, even though nobody said we're allowed to. $10 billion in the military bill. It grants assistance directly to Taiwan over 5 years and accelerates weapons procurement process for the island. $10 billion. That's right, $10 billion of our dollars. But yet we're cutting Medicaid. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people to give it to people that are crossing our border illegally at a rapid rate. This is all ridiculous. We're going to spend $10 billion to assist Taiwan with military equipment. We're going to cut Medicaid, which Medicaid's getting cut right now, if you guys don't know, which I understand Medicaid's overreaching and overbearing a lot. we're going to give Medicaid to, of course, the migrants that are coming into the country while cutting it to U.S. citizens and cutting U.S. citizens' benefits for everything else, while pushing this whole narrative that we're going to help other countries, we're going to help other people, but not U.S. citizens. I mean, it's pretty bad. If you look at what happened to Washington this weekend, 3 Washington state power electric substations got cut. 3 of them. Early Sunday, the initial power cut totaled about 14,000 utility customers. The attacks come as federal officials warn that the U.S. power grid needs better security to prevent domestic terrorism. After the large outage we've seen in North Carolina earlier this month that took days to repair. This is in the heart of winter. Washington State, of course, experiencing these 3 main substations affecting 14,000 customers, utilities. I mean, it's crazy. But in Tacoma, Washington, vandal was about 5:30 a.m. Sunday at one substation. The sheriff's office said that the outage affected about 7,300 customers in the area of South Tacoma. Just before noon, the utility had restored all power to but 2,700 customers. We're estimated to restore them by 6 p.m. Sunday. But then there was another, of course, substation that was hit, and it affected 7,700 customers who lost power, and hopefully to get it restored by 5 p.m. this morning. That was their goal. Yeah, magic. All 3 cases, of course, that happened. The sheriff said someone forced their way into the fenced-in area surrounding the substation and damaged equipment to cause a power outage. That means they physically went on the property and they don't know who this was yet. Officials say they have not said how the substations were damaged. No suspects are in custody. Officials don't know if the attacks were coordinated. They don't know. They have absolutely no clue what's going on. And this happened within the U.S. Once again, nobody's worried about that. We're worried about what's happening in Taiwan, or what's happening in Ukraine, or what's happening with the immigrants that we're bringing into the country. Illegal immigrants at that. It is a sad show. Then we got New York City, which is just devastating what's happening upstate Buffalo, New York. Blizzard has killed at least 30 people already in western New York. Devastating in Buffalo. Blizzard that polarized western New Yorkers or paralyzed western New Yorkers. It's killed more than 24 people. For sure, officials said Monday that crews struggled to dig out snowbound region in Buffalo in its fierce winter storm in decades. Snow continues to fall and pile up more than 4 feet, dumped on Buffalo since the blizzard took shape on Friday. New York's second largest city stood as ground zero for the storm, as the governor called an epic once-in-a-lifetime weather disaster. Sad. People losing lives over storms. We're a first world country. Of course, people are still there struggling to find food and get out to get goods now. So, of course, those fatalities will go up in the case of snowbanks and everything else as cars are being found. Up to 13 so far have been found, cars with people in them, and snowbanks. So, it's sad. It is sad to see. Watch these tallies come up as, of course, that snow gets cleared there. And you got to remember them. These are U.S. citizens dying because the U.S. wants to spend money other ways in other places than it's at home. Weather disruptions not just happen in New York, but lingering for flights all around the U.S. are led by Southwest Airlines right now. Massive flight cancellations, including more than 3,800 flights were canceled Monday. 3,800 flights canceled today. 70% of total carrier schedules for the day. That is crazy numbers. And these numbers are just getting started. Delays were reported for more than 7,100 flights, departures, and arrivals overall. Several hundred by Southwest. It's challenging and impacting customers, of course, and employees in a significant way, and it's unacceptable. Consecutive days of extreme winter weather are causing these delays. But this was anticipated. People knew what was going to happen. Yeah, it was caused by global warming. But it's sad. This, these delays and everything else and everything that happened with this storm was all predictable. It was anticipated. The disruptions, they knew what was going to happen ahead of time. Why didn't they move the proper people in place to fix it? That's a bigger question. I mean, it's sad to see, of course, people dying in Buffalo and power stations getting shot out in Washington. Just craziness. Migrants are being dropped off. I don't know if you guys heard this story. I saved the best for last, though, of course, always do. Migrants being dropped off and left outside of Harris's home this weekend at Christmas. Those volunteers, of course, tried to get in there, mutual aid, and for hours on Sunday to help feed the 140 migrants who were left roadside on Christmas Eve outside Vice President Harris's residence. This is what she deserves. She doesn't want to control the border. You know, that's what she was sent down to the border to do and assess the situation and decide what would be best. So they, they went and dropped off a whole bunch of migrants right at her house. None of them knew they were going to be dropped off. After hours of chatting with them, of course, nobody really knows. They have no idea their part in the bigger political game. I mean, bus drops have become common enough in D.C. that the network of volunteers and churches are ready to spring into action, but they were not ready for this on Christmas Eve. I mean, within a half hour of the arrival of the first bus, migrants were on their way to the church with warm coffee and tamales, beans, and rice, and rotisserie chickens. But this is what should be happening. I mean, I hate to say this, but somebody has to take a stand. I mean, if we're going to let people in at alarming rates because of mal- malfeasancy in our government, that's what it is. We're going to allow them in alarming rates where we can't control or contain or help the people properly. We have to cut Medicaid for our own citizens, cut benefits for our own citizens, cut housing for our own citizens in order to house populations of immigrants within the United States. There's a big problem. Somebody needs this is what needs to be done in order to wake these people up. It may be disgusting and may not seem proper. But without somebody doing this, the White House isn't going to look at it because they can just turn their cheek. And that's what they've been doing all along. So seeing this actually happen, it's crazy. As we know, everything that's happening, it's just one thing after another. Literally at this point, one thing after another. Elon Musk, of course, buying GM, which is huge. Oh, it's wrong. I'll agree with you. It's wrong, but the reasoning is sound. We got Elon Musk buying GM now on top of Twitter, on top of everything that's happening. The government influence on expose or suppressing COVID messages that contradicted the White House. Everything else that's happening. It's just crazy. You know, a Colorado man got arrested for having a rant on TikTok. I mean, yes, it was racist and yes, it was homophobic, but it did not affect anybody. It was his personal opinion that he stated. Sorry. That's what America is. You have the freedom to speak your beliefs. This man was arrested because his rant on TikTok. That's it. He didn't act upon anybody. He didn't confront anybody. He posted a video about what he thought. Now it's coming to that time. I don't even know if I should be saying what I feel anymore. And that's scary. When you can't open your mouth and speak the truth, there's a huge problem. If you can't speak your truth, maybe it may not be the real truth, but speak your truth. No, but that's what we're doing. I work very hard, but we're paying for people outside our country coming in to get benefits and not allowing our own people to get our benefits. Yeah, we're not allowed to speak what we feel. You know, there's this girl I've been following lately. She happens to be lesbian. I can't remember her name, but as soon as I think of it, I will. I'll make sure I share it with you guys. I think that she has a very, very unique view, and she hates the LBGQ thing. She hates all the bullshit. She hates all the everything about it. But I think you guys should really, I mean, to be relatable, that's the truth of the matter. They form these organizations to cause havoc, nothing more. These organizations to arrest people and to charge them because they don't want to see or want to hear it. They want to force everybody to accept and be manipulated by it. It's ridiculous. That's all I can say. But God bless you guys. I hope you guys all had a wonderful Christmas. Go forward. I'm gonna figure out what's going on with my keyframe rates and everything tomorrow for Wednesday night. This is definitely not good tonight. God bless you guys. God bless America. James, I'll read your message after this and I'll get back to you. Make sure you send that a message to the page. God bless you guys. God bless America. Good night.